Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candidina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today is Monday, and Mayur Kalbag is back with us for another interesting session on haunted houses and whether spirits lurk inside these four walls of these houses. Welcome, Mayur.
Welcome, and thank you. And I'm saying welcome. Probably on the behalf of this show as well to all the family members of this show. And thank you, Meena, for making it possible for me to come and share my thoughts. So, thanks.
Yeah, and friends, you all know he's not only a speaker, but he's also an author, and he's written several books. And his latest book, on Agoris, is one of the most brilliant books that anyone can read, and it would be best if you get a copy of it from Amazon and read it. It's not just a story, but an illuminating journey about the attitudes and attributes of one of the most enchanting, mysterious sects of sadhus. What you hear in YouTube and other places is completely wrong. When you read this book, you get to know the truth. So I'd like Mayur to also just say a few words about this book, and then we'll move on to the topic of today.
Thank you so much. Firstly, again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this as well. Firstly, I know that Karthik probably is already reading it, and to all the others who are watching, and to the people who are watching this and seeing me probably the first time, I want to say that this is really not a book. Honestly, it's an experience that I've shared of, if I can say, from this life and certain lives I've led in my past, and it's like a spiritualized and interesting character, like a Harry Potter types, but far more spiritualized. And Meena, one thing is that not only will the reader enjoy the journey because it's written as a biographical journey of this person called Subbu, because then you see the whole world and the adventure through his eyes, But you also, I feel, you also get to know more about the Aghori Panth or the Aghori sect.
Actually,
It's not just
when my husband was reading it, he said, I can't imagine. I mean, the book is so spellbinding that I couldn't leave it down even for a second. And I know, because you read the book very fast. And he said, there's so
yeah
much about the Aghoris that I did not know before. He reads a lot of books.
yeah
And he said,
yeah.
there's so much about the Aghoris that I did not know before. And that's how he was very keen to interact with you and hear more about your story.
I know. One of the things I get asked, Meena, is I get asked and I'm told very assertively. I'm asked, "Are you Subbu?" And I'm told, "You are Subbu." And my answer is,
I believe your book is one of the top books in a list.
yeah, it's become a bestseller. I don't honestly, Meena. See, I can't, exaggerate. I cannot say it's a bestseller because it's reached a lot of people, but I do feel that more than the number of people it has reached, the kind of feedbacks I'm getting, Meena. Look at your husband, who's the way he's expressed. Because if you remember, I had a call with him, and he said, "I have to meet you. I need to ask you a lot of questions." And he was so
And
keen.
not only that, Mayur, not only him, my mother also listens to audio programs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if she's watching it live or later, my pranams to her as well. And I can only say that it's a book that is only 140 pages. So a lot of non-readers could give it a try, because sometimes we make an assessment of a book to read or not based on the thickness as well, especially
Yes.
non-readers. Even I'm not a
Yeah.
solid reader, but if it's a short book but very deep. So there are people who are also a little upset that why did you end it so quickly? So you better write a part two. And I've actually started working on a part two as
Oh, very
well.
good. Very good.
Yeah, because it ends with, there's Subbu goes back to his guru's mutt, and he's sitting and telling him all these experiences where in the mutt in the south. Suddenly he hears in the background, Alak Niranjan. And that's the way the book ends. So people are, who's that guy? Who's that person who said Alak Niranjan? And if I can use today's today's title, it's going to be a very pleasantly and spiritually haunting experience if you read the book. So this is the book. If you don't mind, I can just say once to all of you, do explore
It's a lovely
on
cover
Amazon.
as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you see the expressions of the Aghori, it is unlike what is typically shown where the Aghori is shown for some reason very angry and
Yeah.
all. They're not. They're actually very compassionate. They only don't like getting disturbed and getting distracted by people and stuff. They're in their own zone. So, but thanks, Meena, for this lovely opportunity to talk about my book.
Thank you for joining and being with us every Monday, because it's very important. I mean, we listen to a lot of topics, Mayur. We listen to political topics. We listen to a lot of
Yeah,
the other gory topics as well. But when you come on board, I mean, people know that they go on a journey, a 1 hour journey,
yeah,
and that is really an interesting one.
yeah. See, look at
Yeah,
Karthik. He's saying, "I'm still
absolutely.
don't give it out. I'm so sorry." I know. I am sorry, but yeah, you will enjoy a lot of it till the end. So chill. All right. Yeah, I mean, so today's topic is going to be
Let's do that.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Yes,
let's
please.
talk about today's topic, which is haunted houses. So it's very interesting. See, so there are sometimes, when you walk into a house that you feel a little eerie about, creaking
Yeah.
door, floorboards, or some sort of whining, and the lights flickering, for no apparent reason.
Yes.
Something about these occurrences seem bone chilling,
Yeah.
otherworldly. Most of us
Yeah.
brush them off and go on our ways unbothered. But what if those things keep happening and keep getting
Hmm.
interestingly, unsettling? More importantly, what if you are really not alone in this house like you thought you were, and instead it's haunted? So, Mayur, I just wanted to talk about a few very, very haunted places in Bangalore. So
Okay.
we could start off with that,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about this bungalow, which is called Terra Vera, and this is the most haunted house in Bangalore, apparently. And now, of course, now it's no longer there. But this old deserted mansion, Terra Vera, is
Hmm.
was undeniably one of the scariest places in Bangalore. The house was built in 1943 by E.J. Vach, so must be Vaz. So he had two daughters, Dolce and Vera. And in 2002, Dolce, a piano teacher, was brutally stabbed to death by an unidentified attacker who buried her body in the premises. Vera moved out of the house after her sister's death, leaving behind all the precious belongings, including a vintage car and furniture. Since then, satanic signs such as inverted crosses, mysterious sounds, and eerie sights were common in the house. Those who went inside the house to click pictures of the car and furniture came back with dead batteries and corrupt images. And though this haunted house has been demolished, the paranormal activities haven't stopped on the ground where this manor once stood. Now, Mayur, there are almost about 6 places which are really haunted in Bangalore. So this is one
Okay.
which we started with. As you speak, Mayur, I'll just intersperse with some of the other haunted places in Bangalore.
All right. Okay. Okay. So, how do you want me to sort
Yeah.
of engage right now?
Yeah.
You want
So
to put
what
a
I wanted
question
to
or?
ask you is that, see, usually does sort of an accident or an incident that happens in the house,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the person who dies, his soul is
Yeah.
not unfulfilled or unhappy to leave
Yeah.
this earth. Is that the reason why these houses get haunted?
Okay. Okay. Let me begin by putting a few thoughts, and my caveat always is that these are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, it's up to you. It's based on what I have understood, what I've experienced, and what I've listened to. Okay, so it's like this. You said that when you introduced four walls, right?
Yeah.
I think it goes. Walls is a metaphor for something that's like an area, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of things. One is there are they're not haunted houses. They're places where um, certain things had happened in the past. So it's not the place is normal, but at that place something happened which is untimely, which is tragic. And even if I go back to what you said about that lady getting stabbed. Okay, so when something happens, as they say in Hindi, akasmat, suddenly. Now that leaves the soul, as what I've understood, leaves the soul very confused.
yeah,
It's literally like a normal person who suddenly put in some place. Sometimes they themselves don't know that they've died.
yeah,
It takes time.
mhm,
Okay, I know of instances where the soul has to be told that you have to leave. It's like the movie called The Others with Nicole
yeah,
Kidman. If you've seen, and
yeah,
people, if you haven't seen it, see it, because
yeah,
that's exactly haunted.
yeah.
They don't realize that they are the actual.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm giving it away. I don't want to give it away. So 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 what I think, I'll tell you what happens, as of what I've understood, is a beautiful house, but with a tragic occurrence of deaths, either through a murder or through a suddenness in the way the person passes away, leaves that soul, I believe, unfulfilled with whatever desires it wanted to fulfill. It may or may not have the choice to go. It still wants to live and thinks that it can accomplish those whatever desires, but it can't, because the soul is not there. Right? So that unfulfilled soul, Meena, tries to, as I have understood, again, I'm saying this as what I felt, is they feel the right over their property. They feel it is their house. They will not let anybody come and occupy that. Now, what they feel, I have not met a spirit and talked to him, but what I've seen is they feel that through their energy, if they can do something that is harmful,
Yeah,
okay, now they can't really harm. I know there are levels there, you can, somebody's been scratched,
yeah,
but I've never come across a person getting literally, unfortunately I'm saying literally, hit or that way. Things can move, and that's what scares and makes a place haunted, Meena. And therefore you'll come across even places which are hospitals,
yeah,
okay, where death happens. Sometimes I've seen things move, not literally, but I've seen some videos where that's called paranormal. But connecting it paranormal to places, I think the place becomes haunted because of the way a tragedy has occurred with respect to a person, and that person's soul doesn't get to know the way out. So, and plus, it also feels this complete authority over that space,
yeah,
and that's why when people go in, they're not able to live the life that they want to, because they'll start experiencing some issues. They'll see something moving, they'll hear knocks. It's the soul trying to say that, please get out of here. All right, so that's where I put it. But there are other things which we can talk about later on. But this is what my first perspective is in terms of how a place gets haunted. And I think it's not just about a house, Meena. It can be any place. It can also be a road where an accident has occurred.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In
and
fact,
if you really look at this
I'm going to
house,
that as well.
yeah,
Yeah. In fact,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to
So
that
this
as
is
well.
where I put a comment to what I have to say. Yeah, Meena.
Yeah. See, in Bangalore, there's a place called the Kalpalli Cemetery, which is among the most haunted cemeteries in Bangalore. You know,
Okay.
yeah. This one is at the old Madras Road, which is sure to scare more than most of the other cemeteries you would have heard of or visited. Yeah, Mayur. See, I remember this very well because our driver used to refuse, to go by this place because he
Okay.
always said at night he would see someone, you know. And several
Oh.
passers-by have reported seeing a creepy man roaming around the graves and disappearing on being approached. Those who have been to the cemetery claimed of the air being so heavy near some graves that they could hardly breathe. They also had a sort of a strange feeling of someone keeping an eye on them while they were at the graveyard. In fact, the place is so scary that even guards do not go near the graves after sunset. And exactly as you said, see, in Victoria Hospital, this century old hospital became home to ghosts only a few years back. The ghost is believed to be that of a woman who died in the hospital a few decades back. People who went to the hospital claim to see bizarre incidents happening at the hospital morgue. Most of them claim seeing a white spirit on one of the trees in the hospital premises. What's interesting is that, unlike most ghosts who are said to scare away people, this one is more of a fun ghost. It doesn't scare people, it only steals food. The security guards have also seen another spirit roaming in the hospital, crying loudly at night. So also the ghost can be classified as having different. characters as well.
Yep, yep, yep. So yesterday I happened to see, my daily tonic for excitement and also a little bit of content is watching and analyzing paranormal. So yesterday I watched a paranormal about one of the most haunted tunnels. So it's a tunnel in one of the places across the world. It's in some place. So these two people go, one with the camera, the other goes and checks out and with a torch, and the other guy is filming it. Now, as they enter, it seems they've been told that nobody's really crossed to the other side, so they want to be there. And so as they go, now I have to be very frank with you, Meena. I don't feel that everything that looks haunted is haunted. Okay,
Yeah,
let me be clear, because sometimes a very dilapidated place
yeah,
looks haunted. So I want to make that distinction for all our viewers as well, that what looks may not be real. And sometimes another thing is sometimes what looks absolutely modern and
yeah.
perfect
In fact,
can be still
that's
haunted.
what I'm going to tell you about next. Yeah,
Okay, so I tell you,
yeah,
so I tell you, so in this particular video, these guys go. Now, what is interesting is they don't see anything initially. They go, but they start hearing a woman or some person wailing, that kind of stuff. Okay, and even I could hear that because they have the microphone and etc., the mic and stuff. But they don't see anything. So they finally, when they come halfway, Meena, they start hearing the wailing from the other side, from the side that they entered. So they can't go back.
yeah.
So they're scared to go back. So when they go, they have to go to the other side. They just run, and it's a very dirty sort of a tunnel with some water, sewage. They manage to go, and they keep hearing the wailing. They don't get hurt. Nothing happens to them. And when I'm sharing all this, Meena, assuming this is true, okay, because people would make their own inferences. I do think it is. They go there, they're completely trembling. Meena, they go there and realize their car is somewhere else and they have to turn back. When they turn back and return, because they have nowhere to go, because the other side leads to a jungle, so they have to return. They find as they take a tunnel, there's a small little sort of turn. One of the spots of a form, which is in the form of a black smoky sort of a form, and they're stuck because they can't go back. They can't. So they're just sitting there in the middle of the tunnel, wondering what to do. And the only thing they do is they start praying. Okay, I think it's some Venezuelan or whatever language. They start praying, and they just run. When they run, that form isn't there. And I don't know. I mean, it's not like a movie where you see a person with those teeth coming out and trying to sort of hurt you. I think these, at least what I know, is these spirits, they will basically put fear in you. They will message you through their actions that please leave us alone, because I feel that many of these spirits are not murderers. Yeah, they're just unhappy souls, so they don't want to really do, but they don't want to be disturbed as well.
Yeah.
It's a different science altogether. And in this, before you come in, I will just say what I will say later is, how many people who die like this in accidents, who does their kriya karam? It's very important. I connect that to haunting as well. If you do a proper vidhi, those vidhis post death, where you call the priest, or in any other religion how they do, if that isn't done, I believe that the soul doesn't get that gateway to go. So the role of post death vidhis, the 9th day, the 10th day, the 12th day, the 13th day, all the mantras, or in any other faith, whatever they do, they pray, they talk to the soul and say please leave. If that doesn't happen, Meena, I think the haunting continues.
Yeah. In fact, what Sri Kanaka is saying, I didn't know that was a cemetery wall when I was traveling a few years back with my friends near Old Madras Road Cemetery in Bangalore, where Meena Man mentioned. I was feeling so cold. My friend told me. So this is something that everybody seems to be experiencing. And now, just like you said, Mayur, sometimes the building doesn't have to look or dilapidated to frighten you. For example, another very haunted place in Bangalore is the Bangalore International Airport. You wouldn't imagine
Really?
that. Yeah, it's among the scariest airports in India. That's what they say. The airports being crowded with people are usually the last place where you would spot a parachute. But the Kempegowda International Airport in Bangalore is an exception. From taxi drivers to staff workers, there are many who claim to see a lady in a white sari. In fact, even a pilot and a ground staff are said to have sighted a lady who disappeared when they approached her. The infrared camera, however, has captured a picture of this mysterious woman in the airport. Some people also claim that it's not only the woman who haunts the airport. According to them, a headless ghost near the escalators of BIAL can be seen on a frequent basis too. Similarly, ghostly appearances have been spotted at Hyderabad airport, where many innocents were killed and buried for protesting against the construction of the airport. So let me just show you a picture of that as well. Not the apparition, but the airport.
What up?
It is so high tech, and you would never imagine, a lady in a white moving about. So,
Yeah,
yeah, back to you.
but they haven't captured the picture, the
No,
apparition.
no,
They
they
still,
I don't have that. I wish they
okay.
had. You see, we have, but it's not there in the report that I saw.
Okay, do you know? Can you later on WhatsApp me, Meena, which area of the airport? Because I'm going to be
Yeah,
there very soon.
yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
so I'd love to get a little bit of a cold wave hitting me. Uh, but
In
have
fact,
you realized
also,
that?
Mayur,
Yes, sorry.
in fact, also, as you said, the National Highway number 4, okay, is also one of the most scariest places, they say, in Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah, so they say highways and haunted stories go together. So many people who traveled on NH4 in Bangalore have claimed to encounter things on the route that were beyond anyone's expectation. And also, several incidents have been reported. One particular story is very scary. A man driving down the highway stopped to give a lift to a young woman around midnight. When he asked the
Hmm.
girl where she wanted to go, she disappeared. What's scarier is that the girl he appeared and started laughing loudly. Scared to death, the
Hmm.
man rushed from the spot. And it's not
Hmm.
only this, Mayur, it's also the Hoskote round. That's also equally scary. They say, an auto driver who was stopped by an old lady, the lady begged for a lift, requesting the driver that she has no money. When the driver
Okay.
agreed and asked the lady to step inside, she
Hmm.
requested the driver to come out and help her as she was disabled. The driver refused to step out of the auto, and it was then
Hmm.
that she started laughing hysterically. She also said that the driver would have been murdered if he had stepped out, and it's because of the presence of idols and holy pictures inside the auto that the lady could not step in.
Hmm. Wow. And this
So,
is just Bangalore.
two
This is
highways.
just Bangalore, right? I mean, so
There'll be many more.
the
Yes, yes.
the highway thing is also interesting because see, I keep going to Fiji Islands. Of course, now with
Yeah,
the pandemic, it's been delayed. But I used to go regularly, and I used to travel between these two places called between Nandi, the west of Fiji,
yeah.
to Suva, the capital. And I used to enjoy listening to the intriguing and fearful stories of the drivers. And they're very pally people, very friendly. And apparently, every time I would finish my session at Nandi, because I used to always return to the hotel in Suva, it's like a 3 hour journey. I would be told this is the place where there's a lady who always stands. I said, where is this? Where's she now? There was one more instance where, because by then I had known there was a cemetery on the roadside. Okay, just on the side of the road, and this driver said. There's a cemetery, and I'd already been told. So I said, "Hey, listen, is it okay if we can just stop there for some time on the other side?" So he said, really, why? I said, no, I just want to see, like, feel it. So he's like, sir, are you okay? Because why are you doing that? So I said, listen, I'm not going to go into the cemetery and do anything. I just want to see. Meena, I wanted to really feel fear.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're, and it's not foolish
right.
arrogance. It was just that while I'm there, I want to, the place where so many drivers told me that there is an apparition of a woman with a child and they ask for lift. And these are taxi drivers who ply the highway, that route regularly.
Hmm.
So we stopped the car a little ahead. I got down and listen, I'll tell you one thing, Meena. I looked across the road. It's just a two-way, okay, not a four-lane and all, two-lane, that's it. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning because I was returning, okay. It was all okay. I don't know, Meena, I really don't know. I mean, I come across people who have experienced hauntings. I don't want to say that I want to experience it, but I have not experienced apparitions and stuff. I know of people I know very closely who have told me that they see or they've seen this smoky thing just rush through a room, and that too not here in United States, in some place. So I think they have their own personalities, Meena, and therefore every place that's haunted need not have the same kind of reaction to you when you enter. Also, what kind of spiritual strengthening you're doing to yourself,
Yeah,
I believe, has a relationship with you experiencing in different degrees or not at all experiencing.
yeah, yeah.
When my mother-in-law passed away, I think I've said this in a different context.
Mm,
I was there in that house in Borivali, and I was there when she passed away. She had really suffered from cancer, and that lady, the nurse who we took the body, it was late night. We came back. When that lady nurse had slept there, she woke up. She said, "I actually saw I saw mom. She was saying that auntie ko dekha maine." So I said, so I was like, okay, where, what? And she seemed to be very convinced. Now I don't know how to explain that because these are not easy to explain. Maybe because it was so sudden, in the sense she's still there. The vidhis have to be done. So for some moments, technically, our place was haunted, no? By that, haunted as in, by the spirit, it was there, by mother's spirit. And maybe after the 13th day, she got the path to leave. So I think that way, it's not necessarily a house or a bad looking or a very dirtily kept house. I think that happens if it is already haunted. Because nobody goes there, Meena, it
yeah,
becomes dilapidated. Because people don't want to go there, nobody maintains the house.
yeah. In fact, in a call center,
Mm.
in Bangalore. So let me just take the picture. Yeah. So a call center on MG Road is among the most haunted places in Bangalore. Apparently, a tragic death made the call center on MG Road a haunted place. A young woman who
Mm.
worked at the call center was killed in a car accident. The driver was under the influence of alcohol, and it is said that he left the woman screaming on the road after the accident. The woman died
Mm.
later. Many have claimed to hear her screams on the same fateful night every year.
Mm. My God.
So, yeah, yeah,
But I mean, I have a question, because this is, like I always say, it's not only me, sharing. It's about, I can have you tell me something, or even our wonderful viewers can share. I have a, so it's a question. Are these spirits who haunt a place, Meena,
mhm,
who are unhappy, unfulfilled, sometimes very angry at why it happened, okay, very frustrated with the fact that I'm not alive anymore? Do they really have the ability to literally physically harm somebody? I believe, I'm not so I'm going to wait for you or others to answer. Can they really sort of hit that way, or can they choke you? I believe no, or maybe, I'm not sure, mostly no. But I do believe that they can influence the mind.
yeah,
I do believe that they can make a person change, sometimes even go a little psycho, little go crazy.
yeah,
They can create mood swings.
yeah,
They are able to, at a softer level, if you know what I'm saying. At a physical level, I'm not sure.
yeah,
But up till now, I'm not really, except maybe if it's too strong. But still, I'm not sure, convinced that they can literally do something. They can make you fall. They can make you slip, probably, because they will affect your mind.
yeah,
If you've seen the movie Final Destination, if you haven't, you should see the movie Final Destination.
yeah, yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yes, yes.
The story is different, but the person doesn't die directly. Certain situations are created by which somebody falls and something then slips. So they can move objects. They can move objects, but they cannot, I think, really come and hold you tight and like. I don't think so. I hope not as well. But this is just an open-ended thought that I wanted to put across. What do you think,
Sujata
Meena?
is saying, yeah.
Yeah,
Sujata is saying,
yeah,
yes, Mayurji. I know of experiences that they crush the heart sitting up with pressure on the chest, you know. And
yeah.
uh, in fact, she's saying that she'd like to join. So I just left the line open for her as well. Shalini says, but when I started reading spirituality and my own experience of death of people in my family, I never felt anything. So it's
So,
possible, but
so Meena, I think in what Shalini also said, see, when I'm of the very strong view that if you're practicing Om Shiva Kavacham or Devi Kavacham, Kavacham is a protection, yeah.
yeah.
These are mantras, and mantras have solid vibrations.
Mm.
You know, Om Astraya Pat, and they do that kind of stuff. They are telling these people, get the, you think you can hurt us? Impossible. If you want to go somewhere else, go. We will not be affected. There's a lot of affirmation, a lot of channeled aggression, like a positive threat to the spirits, and those negative ones, that you can't just come into my space. And
Yeah.
probably that happens when you learn certain ways of chantings and etc. That is why I believe, Meena, at least being a Hindu and practicing Hindu, I believe pujas happen intermittently, if not every day, but prayers happen. I personally think when you pray every day, you're creating this consistency of vibrations. And when there is consistency of solid vibrations through whatever prayers, I'm just talking about my faith. I'm sure in every faith they have that, isn't it? But in Hinduism, you will always say, Om Nakaramana, da, 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 da. You create a temple vibration there.
Yeah.
So how will they want to haunt you? Because they just can't enter here.
Yeah.
So the more we spiritualize ourselves, I believe the possibilities of our space getting haunted is much lesser.
Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome.
Makes sense, no?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
I believe you would
Hello.
like to tell us about your experience.
Yes, can you hear
Yeah.
me, Meenadi?
Yes. We
Yes.
can hear you.
So, hello, Mayurji. Again, we are back on the Monday
Hi.
thing.
Yes.
And this is one of my favorite topics, because as I told Mayurji also, I was just discussing in the chat box that, this experiences about this haunted houses thing. The house in which we are living right now, we live in Sainik Puri. Okay.
Mm,
And
mm,
this place is a very, one of those, very, very old. It has a lot of history and all that. And I live next to a lake called Capra Lake. Okay, so there is this house which my brother bought, and then we went in for the usual renovation and all that. We had to reconstruct the house. We thought it's a
mm,
renovation. Then there was this house which was this house was being done, and this is a two-floored house, so duplex kind of thing with 4 bedrooms. So in the entrance to the left side, to the right hand side, you find the steps. Okay, so there my watchman was standing, and his wife was also standing next to him. So I was on the first floor. This house was under construction then. So there I see this small little boy. He's only about, I think, 11 years old. I can very clearly draw him, but only thing is I don't know to draw well. But my mind has a clear picture. Okay, and this boy is wearing a khaki color, shirt, and
mhm,
and some light orange or something, that kind of small shorts. And he doesn't have hair on his head, very less hair. So I asked my watchman not to startle him. I asked him, this was about 13 years before, 13 to 14 years before. So I asked him, Mahesh, is there a boy or your cousin, somebody who's come to the house? So he said, no, Akka. I mean, that is no Didi. And then I said, okay, fine. Then I said, are you sure you don't have anybody who's around about 10 to 11 years old, who's with you, who's come from the village and all that? He said, no. Okay. And that boy was standing there. He refused to move. I could see him so clearly. And because I always have that ability, as I told you, right? I have this ability. It's a blessing. So then I just went away, and then the next day again, when I come back to check on the house, the boy is standing there at the same place. So then I made my inquiries and all that, and there was a small. This house was actually what do you call that? A kind of what do you call that? Orphanage for young children. Okay, and there was a boy who died of cancer.
Oh,
Okay, so that's why this boy is doesn't have hair on his head.
okay.
And there is a room upstairs which is a bedroom, and that boy will not allow anybody to sleep in that bedroom beyond a certain time. So he'll come there by, let's say, 1 o'clock in the night. Between 1 to 3, surely he'll wake you up, whoever is sleeping in that bed. So then we did all this Hanuman Chalisa thing and all. He did not leave. So
Mm.
then I, just through meditation, I asked him, what is it that you want? He said, I want new clothes, I want pencil, rubber, I want chewing gum. then I want this, that. He had all that list which a small child would. New clothes, slippers. So we gave him that. Even then he didn't refuse, he didn't leave. He was there for almost 1 year till his mind was completely satisfied. He used to keep asking us, I want peda, I want this, I want that. The list went on, small children stuff. So you could see that boy was there, and I told him, see, if you try to do any such thing of, he used to say, if you're walking down the stairs, he'll say, I'll push you from behind. I said, you try doing any such things. Trust me, I'll put you up in a bottle. I used to, we used to have these mental conversations. People will think that I'm crazy, but that's true. And not only this issue, this incident, in our previous house, before we came to this house, there was this person who was coughing always. It was after 12 you could hear that coughing, and I asked this was a gated community. So I asked the Gurkha, is there some old man who's coughing? He said, madam, it is coming only from your house, from upstairs. So we were shocked. I was shocked. Then next day I sat down for my meditation and all that. Then I asked him. So he told me, I'm a diabetic. I'm the owner's husband. I died and they didn't give me sweets. They are not giving me anything. I'm not happy. So give me 1 kg doodh peda. So I went to the temple from Shirdi Sai Baba temple. I got that prayed and all, and came and gave it to him. After that, no coughing, nothing. He's gone. Then I asked the owner's wife, that is that lady. So she told me, yes, my husband passed away. He was a diabetic. He was around about 70 years old. So these are just the softer ones I'm telling you for the for the want of not scaring people.
Since
So
since you can see, ghosts, can you
yes,
see any
yes.
behind Mayur or me?
No, no. I'll tell you something, Meena Di. People like you and Meena ji and Mayur, you are all blessed souls. You have angels with you. Especially Meena Di, what I can see behind you is not just your photograph of the Guru, but you have a guardian angel. Mayur has so many people behind him who protect him. Not just his Guru, there are so many people. Mayur is a warrior himself. He has an army, so nobody dare touch a hair
Are
on his
you
head.
are you seriously saying no, no, no? Are you seriously saying that, or are you just saying that in a way
Absolutely.
of?
At, Mayurji, we never
Because
had
I'm
this
hearing you.
opportunity. We never had this opportunity to talk about this subject. This subject is very close to my heart because I told you this is my blessing. And I have helped, people who I don't know. I've helped more than 50 souls who had problems like this. I'm not just talking about this house incident only. I'm talking about the accidents on the road. You remember, Mayurji, we were just talking about the accidents on the road. Okay,
Yeah.
so every year there is this cantonment area in Maritpalli. This is called I don't know if you all know that, but there's an area which is a military cantonment kind of pathway. Okay, so there is an accident which happens every once in 3 months or 6 months, and the person who meets with an accident, they invariably dies. Okay, so I used to have this previously. We used to have this TVS mopeds. Okay, so there's just the time when the cycles were off, and then we had this TVS scooty kind of things. Okay, so
Yeah.
there was this huge accident wherein there was a man who was almost bleeding, and he was almost in a very bad shape. So immediately we got off. I gave the kerchief and I helped him, and there was this very dark black apparition. Okay, and even now I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. So you know what he told me? He said, mind your own business, अपना काम नहीं करेगी तू, क्यों यहाँ पर टांग अड़ा रही है? That kind of I mean, I got so scared. I could hear what he was saying. I couldn't see him, but he was very harsh and very black, unlike the other people. And he was very angry that I'm trying to save this man. I said, you can kill whom you want to, but not this person, because I came in front of him and I couldn't leave somebody like that. And then this man went to the hospital, and the doctor said, if you had stayed for another half an hour of bleeding, you would have, died. And that
Yeah.
man was carrying 3 lakhs cash. He was some hotel, some man. So like this, there are a lot of experiences, even in my hometown. We had
So
this. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
No, no, that's nice.
Sorry.
I just want to. I just Meena,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meena, when you ask that question, to Sujata, that hey
Yeah.
Sujata, since you can see ghosts, can you see something behind me or Mayur?
Uh,
Yeah.
I was hoping she'll say no, but I can see a ghost right in front. Why behind?
But trust me,
Because
Mayurji.
if you, yeah,
Yeah.
you say something, Sujata.
No, trust me. I've told you this before. You are a warrior, okay? And you have an army of people behind you. Trust me, it's not just one or two. You are very strong spiritually. It's that kind of, you have a fort. That's what I was telling. Every time I come to the program, somehow I join your program. Meena di, that's what I was telling you. Mondays, I somehow, time mili jata hai, whatever you do or you don't do. So, Meena Ji is very strong and she has lot of love on her guru, whoever a guru is. So her guru will not be there all the time. So Meena Di will always have a warrior. It's like that, in the Bible they say Saint Michael and all that. So that kind of warrior we have. So, but for Mayurji, we don't need all that. He has an army.
I
He's
don't know.
completely covered. You are covered, Mayurji. This is not to flatter you. This is not
Okay.
to flatter you, because these are the
Okay.
things which we see in a different realm.
yeah.
So I think it's a blessing, and thank you so much for your time. I don't have any question as such. I just wanted to share these experiences. I'll give time to others
Sujata,
because,
I think many people
yeah,
would like to connect with you. So
yeah,
if you could email
yeah.
us, then I could give your number out to all these
Oh,
people.
sure,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I'll do
Just
that.
mail
And
me at handed me.
I'll yes, I'll send you my email ID. And thank you so much, Mayurji. I just want to say one thing, that please recite one slok for us today, because every time we keep saying this and that and problems and issues. So I want you
Yeah.
to say a lovely shloka for us.
It is
Thank
the
you.
Sujata. Before you log off, just want
Yeah.
to tell you a couple of things. One is
Yes.
when something like this is said to me, which is positive, I keep it honestly. That's what I've learned, is to keep it at the feet of my guru. Otherwise,
Yes.
the ahankar comes in. Oh, I have an army. So that keeps me humble. I'll keep all that at my guru's feet, because he is the
Absolutely.
embodiment of uh, 1 crore soldiers for me, my guru.
Absolutely.
Uh, that's
Absolutely.
point number
Amen.
one. Point number two is when you said that you, coming to the topic, when you said that you actually could see this boy as clearly as you could probably, if you're an artist, you could really draw.
Yes.
You see, I mean, I really adore you as a person with, and in terms of the powers you have, whatever that you've been gifted. I really respect you, adore you for that. But I still am not convinced. I'm sorry, but I'm not convinced personally, and I
You,
will. I cannot say yes.
Mayurji,
Can I
I'll
finish?
tell you. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Can I
yeah.
finish?
Yes.
You'll have to allow me to finish.
Yes. Yes. No, no, no. Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, because you know the context. So I'm just
Yes.
trying to understand. See, I come from the belief that speaking about haunted, I come from the belief, which is logical actually, but maybe what you say is beyond logic, and it's maybe correct. Is that when a person dies, the body goes away. Either it's buried through a particular faith, or it's burnt. So when the soul then becomes bare, unfulfilled, whatever, that's that bhoot or spirit, pret. Now, my thing is, how is that pret able to again manifest itself in the body that has gone? That's my question, okay?
I'll
And
answer.
and
I'll
and
answer that.
yeah,
Yes.
and I do agree that they can create the smoky form, because that's the only thing I feel they can create, is a form of a human form. But I also know that there are some, and Meena, this is interesting for you and the viewers. There are, if you see some paranormal, they use thermal imaging. In the thermal imaging, they have, so you can't see with the normal eye. With thermal imaging, they're able to see on the screen a proper hand, body, leg, but as lines, not real, as lines. Okay, and they keep fluctuating. So this is a question with a lot of childlike exuberance I'm asking. I really want to know your response to that, and then you can
Yes.
probably
I'll.
log off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll give you. See, as you said, each one has a capacity to know and feel things. Okay, so what I could see was not the body, but an image of the boy as he was when he was alive. Okay, and nobody can say that, I know anything about this house. I didn't know that this house was an orphanage. I didn't know that there was a boy who was suffering from cancer. I didn't know that there are a lot of, so it is just that my brother just randomly picked up this house. Okay, and this particular boy was standing there, and it is not just me. In my family, my brother can see and hear and mentally talk, because my mother, I told you, is my guru. Okay, and my sisters can know that there is something which is kind
Wow.
of irritating, some flesh goosebumps kinds. But of all the four siblings, I'm the one who can see. Okay, so it's
Wow.
not, and this boy is not the first person. I told you, I've seen lot of other people who come to me in the form they wear as human. It's not like some white ghost or white sari and all that. But yes, I've heard anklets, people wearing anklets and walking in my hospital. I was working for Apollo Health Street, Apollo
Yeah.
Hospitals, a night job.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
there is unfortunately our owner Sangeeta Reddy. I know Meenadi must be knowing. Sangeeta Reddy chose to keep us in a place where there was a morgue earlier. Okay, so
Oh.
this place already has negative vibrations. Okay,
Yeah.
and there is a bathroom. So whoever goes to that bathroom between 12 to 4 is dead. In the sense, it will, once you go inside the bathroom, you can't open the door, Mayurji.
Oh,
Bas, the door gets locked.
mm,
And there is a Bengali friend of mine, Sudipta Roy. So that girl went into the bathroom, and she's also this Kali Puja and all that, and very strong girl. Okay, she went into the bathroom, and she was locked up for 45 minutes, and she's crying. She forgot to take a phone because she's going to use the washroom. So
yeah.
then after that, at 1:30, I went in, and she was crying, help, help. Nobody was passing by the corner bathroom because people get scared, and this is true. So then she was like, Sujata, I was praying for you. I told Kali Ma main bhog chadaungi if Sujata comes. So after 45 minutes of ordeal, I knew that there was this and the woman who's there, Mayur, I couldn't
Yeah.
see the woman, but I could see her feet. I could see her feet and her anklets. So
Wow.
pretty anklets. This is like almost 400, 500, very old, that anklets.
Mm,
And she's telling me, what is it that you'll give me if this girl comes out? I said, nothing, just move. That girl is, she wants a prize. And then that girl came out and she started crying in the pathway and hallway. She's like, water, and she was almost in a state of mental concussion. So why I'm telling you this is, you can't see all the souls. You're coming back to your question. You can't see all the souls. Only the souls which want to reveal themselves, they'll show you their actual form. The others you
Okay.
can just, the others, and it may sound like a story. My brother keeps telling me, Akka, you don't keep telling people you know this, otherwise people think tu pagal hai.
but at what age did you start seeing this?
Age seventh class. Seventh
Oh,
class.
oh,
There is another incident, Meenaji, where I was in a Kalakshetra. So there was this Akka. You can verify this incident also. There was this Akka known as Sita. So
yeah,
she fell in love with a foreigner. He deceived her. She was pregnant. तो उसने एक झाड़ पे फांसी कर दिया.
mm,
And she died along with the child, a 4 month old or 5 month old. So she used to haunt the hostel,
mm,
and people used to send me. That's when, and I did not know that she was a ghost. वो उल्टा टंगी थी मयूर जी झाड़ को, वो बेताल के टाइप में उल्टा पांव ऐसा रख के उसका उसका hair और उसका face used to be the ground. And
yeah,
I'm like, everybody is not able to see, and I can see this woman who's sitting there and talking to me. She possessed me, Mayurji. She possessed me, and she came home, and my mother gave me the relief. She gave the relief to her soul. So
yeah.
this is one incident where that's when I
Yeah.
realized that souls are there. Otherwise, I didn't know. I didn't
Sujata,
know.
Sujata,
Yeah.
I've seen a movie. If you haven't, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the movie called The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
After
Yes.
hearing you, I'm going to write to Manoj Knight Samalan that he has to make a movie. called the 17th or the 18th sense. And by the way, I know for sure, if somebody asks me, hey, can you tell me an incident about meeting a human being? I'll say I have so many incidents because when I walk down, I see so many people. Can I keep telling
Yes,
you? I get that feeling like you must be having so many you can see, right? So you have so many
yes,
encounters. So and I don't know if
absolutely, absolutely.
it's a how much of it is a blessing because
Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, there are people who've fallen sick
yeah,
on
Yes,
just getting to feel something moving across the room. They start getting
yes.
fever and
Yes,
say,
and there are
I
certain,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and there are certain, and I'll tell you, and I'm sorry to interrupt. My father was not a very good man, Mayurji. He used to, go and sit on the corpses and do all these pujas and all that, and it was a very bad situation. My mother is just the opposite. She is completely into Devi Aradhana and all that, and the reason why we are alive today is because of my mother, Mayurji. I have to say that my mother is. A completely different being. She's like वो बोलते हैं ना बाला त्रिपुरा सुंदरी. I know Meena Di will understand. So
Hmm,
that kind of blessing she has. And
hmm,
मेरी मम्मी के नाम पे वो 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 आता है ना, वो जो लिपीस का वो जो पत्र आता है ना, उनका
hmm,
नाम पे कुछ भी नहीं है. There is nothing in her future or her present. So she is a blessing of a goddess. So
hmm,
this is something which I know this is on national YouTube and all that. I don't have any anger against my father now. I've completely forgiven him because karma. We have to accept that. I bless his soul. I bless him because I came through him, but I bless him. But I cannot forgive him completely. You know what I'm saying? It's
in
like
fact,
So
it's
Sujata,
very
one of the
hurtful.
yeah.
ladies, Vaishnavi, is
Yeah.
saying that one lady
Hmm,
came to my house after my daughter's birth. She stayed there for 2 years with me and always sat near my foot every night. After some days, she made some utensils sound, but when I went to the kitchen, I don't think she's continued. So perhaps something has happened. Okay, Karthik is
Yeah.
also joining us.
Yeah.
yeah.
So she hasn't continued after that. So maybe
Yeah.
she did see a ghost.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So
please,
Sujata, you wanted
slow
me
for
to
me, Mayurji.
yeah. See, same thought. I was about to say that. Let me
Yeah.
recite a shloka. I think there's been so much of. I'll be honest with you. I'm feeling a little
Yeah.
scared right now listening to what you said. I'm like,
No, but that's the truth, right? Because at the end of the day, and
some
Mayurji, I've also
one lady is just commented earlier. I think it's Savi Singh ji. Namaskar to you. She says, I think Mayur has got a lot of experience with bhut. Well, the humankind, especially when I look at the mirror, that booth is completely true. But the person who has had more experiences, Sujata yourself. But let me recite this as a way to also make me feel a little more, strong. But on a serious note, let me just recite for you and for all the others who love to listen. Om Yamananti Munaya Prakritim Purani Vidyetiyam Shrutirahasya Vedo Vadanti Tvam Aradha Pallavita Shankara Rupa Mudra Devim Ananya Sharanam Prapadye Devi Ananya Sharanam Prapadye Om. That's it.
beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
just
So it's
a
about
question.
Sharanam.
Uh,
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Meena.
Sujata, a question from
Yeah.
Vaishnavi. She's saying, uh,
Ah,
Vaishnavi, but nothing was there. Some activity we noticed, and only my son and I felt her, but she saw in my room to my son every time.
uh-huh.
Uh,
I felt her, but she saw in my room to my son. Okay, that is this lady had an experience where somebody
yeah,
was
yeah,
with her,
yeah.
and then she died, and then she came
Not
to her
died.
and
No, no.
ha
She was a
ha.
spirit. It was
Oh,
a spirit.
okay,
He came and sat with her and then went off.
okay,
Mm.
okay. So was the
Another
child
question,
affected in any way?
yeah. Sujata, another question is, can you please
Ah,
try to talk to Sushant Singh Rajput?
That's a question I was evading. Yes, remember Meenati, I told you, Mayur, you'll not believe this. We were watching the TV and then we realized that Sushant is killed or dead or whatever the case is. And I sat for my meditations, not much, just 10 to 15 minutes I meditate, Meenadi.
Yeah.
And here this Mayur, this Sushant came out and he's like, Ma, mujhe bacha lo, please, mujhe help karo. I'm like, what the fish? Who's calling me Ma and all? I'm single, I'm not married, I don't have children. Nobody can calls me Ma. He said, Ma, please mujhe bachao, please mujhe help karo, please mujhe help karo. I said, please, I don't want to listen to such things. I'm sorry, I don't want to help you. I don't know you. Okay, when you were alive and enjoying your celebrity status, that time you didn't see a Ma in me. Now you are coming out, you know,
Mm,
and trying to contact with me. He said, I'm trying to connect with lot of people. Please, Ma, please help me. So I said,
mm,
see, there is nothing I can help you. You have to go through your process of purification, finish all that, and if there is still something pending, and if my guru tells me that I can connect with you, then you can come to this pathway. 3 days he was there, Meenadi. 3 days, every day
this is
during my
after the death, you
meditation.
mean? After
Huh.
the death?
Yes, after the death. 3 days continuously talked to me. He
Yeah.
said, please, Ma, please. He never used to call me Didi. I said, please call me Didi. Not much of age difference. Don't make me feel like I'm an old woman. So he said, no, aap Ma ho hamari. Please, mujhe help karo. I said, I'm sorry. My mother did not give me permission to talk to people like this because it will drain my energy. So I cannot bring you into my aura and my space. But he was there for a long time. I said, I'll pray for you. Right now my only authority I have in this realm is I can pray for you so that your pain will go away. And for a long time, for then after that he started coming in my dreams. So I told him, please, I've closed the pathway, you cannot step into this, because what happens, Meena, these they drain your energy,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they have to purify their soul. We
Mm,
cannot help them go, we can show
mm,
them the pathway, but we
mm,
cannot handhold them, because I'm not a guru. I'm
yeah.
just a person who has been blessed, and I help in my own way, with the people who come across. I have lot of incidents, Mayurji, with my Mama ji and all that. Now, right now,
I know,
I'll take the
I know.
time off. There are a lot of incidents which I can tell you.
You might just come to my home in Pune, and from the time you enter my apartment lift to my seventh floor, you will have at least 10 incidents.
No, but it's actually there. I'm not making
I'm
it up,
only scared when you
probably.
come home, you might say, "Arey, आप यहाँ पे हो?"
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for your shloka, and thank you, Beenaji and Mayurji.
Thank you.
Yes, I will go ahead and leave the space for others. Thank you so much, because
Thank
this
you so
topic
much.
is so close to my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the paradox, Meena and Sujata. Before you leave, look at the
Yeah.
paradox, and it's so beautiful that here we are talking about something which is haunted, and we are genuinely chilled out about it. We are talking about it, but we are also laughing, and
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
exactly how I think this entire space of this universe
Yeah.
is. That
Yeah.
what is made out to be in terms of all that stuff, that isn't true.
Yeah.
They will reveal themselves in the way they were, like you said, the boy. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's about they connecting, they
Yes.
needing help. Maybe
Yes.
they are the weaker souls. We get scared. Rather than we getting scared, probably, and that's where I think the practice of japa and whatever meditation we do really becomes the kavach for us. And I'm so
Yes.
happy that we are having this, Meena, very cool conversation.
Yeah.
It's not we are not feeling drained. In fact, we are getting energized, and I'm sure the souls, the spirits, the prey who are around me, they're like, cool dude, nice, you should have more of these, now there'll be many people coming into your dreams, I think, more people.
okay, bye
Nice.
bye.
All the
I
best.
suggest, Jata, you just
Yeah,
remain there. We'll
yeah,
let Karthik speak, and in case you need to talk, you can
Yeah.
talk. So,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Karthik, you can
Yeah,
have your say now.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Compared to what Sujata ji told, my story won't make much of a impact.
Karthik,
I would like.
Karthik, are you here with us at my house, or are you there? Because I can't see you there.
I'm a, I don't I don't have that capabilities to have a bilocation.
Yeah, sorry, Karthik. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this I will. I mean, I don't have any spooky experience as such, but experience of a negative energy I would definitely like to talk about. This incident happened in 2009. I was looking for a change of house, and I was visiting different houses to see the houses and for the rent. So one house I went, and I didn't realize the person who was actually supposed to show me the house had died.
Oh.
His photo was in the hall. His daughters were there, and
Hmm.
they told it's okay. He passed away around 4 days back. You can see the house.
Yeah.
I was actually taken aback. I thought, okay, why should I go and see anyway? I have come all the way here. Let me have a look.
Hmm.
I don't know. I felt a kind of a pressure over me. I felt, जैसे धम पड़ता है ना. I mean, you
Hmm.
feel suffocated.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
still, I saw the host because I thought, okay, I've come, taken a leave from office. Let me finish the work and then go. Uh, I saw the place. Then again, I looked at the photo. I felt as if the person is staring at me.
Hmm.
Maybe I was imagining things, or I don't know. Then after that, I came back home. The next day, I had high fever.
Oh.
The
Oh.
fever was there for a week. Excessive coughing. I have never experienced that kind of a cough in my life. The
Oh.
fever, the fever was not coming below 103, 102. It was so much, and I mean, I felt something has happened to me. I don't know what happened. I never understood what was actually happening. Then maybe after a week, it literally dawned on me that maybe I went there. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe the fever was a normal fever, but that there was no infection, nothing.
Hmm.
I went to the doctor. It was only fever and cough and
Yeah.
nothing else. No infection, no viral fever, nothing. But only
Hmm.
fever was there. Fever was not coming down at all.
Yeah.
103, 102, 103, 102, non-stop. So I don't know how to explain this, whether it was the energy of the person or maybe he tried to connect with me. Surely I don't have the abilities of Sujata ji to maybe pursue the energies there. I'd
But
rather not.
Karthik, if I can just add something here, is that okay, Meena?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please,
please.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Karthik, I'll tell you something. You're not the first person who has been affected or impacted in this way. Okay. Like I was telling Meena a little earlier, there
Hmm.
are people who get affected in this way, where their health gets affected, their mind gets affected, and that's because of the potency of that energy that is there. So if they don't like something, or if they're not happy, they can influence certain changes in the body, in the physiology, and as well as in the thinking. um, that is why, you have you heard of these stories where a person is possessed and that person behaves strangely, then that person is taken to
Hmm.
some, if you see in a movie, they take them to some tantric baba and all.
Yeah.
Now that is a little bit too much, or maybe it's there, I don't know, maybe it's there, but
Hmm.
to some extent, Karthik, I think that when we enter into a zone where that energy is probably too solid, and palpating, like, it might have affected you in the way which came out in the form of fever.
Probably.
Also, I feel, also I have seen that people with fear, when they
Hmm.
fear a lot, now it's not in your case, that also has an effect on your body, because in a normal kind of nervousness, our hands shiver
Hmm.
when we are facing an audience. This
Hmm.
fear is a lot, where they see something. Now, because Sujata is blessed in
Hmm.
that sense, she has a guru, so she's not just a wandering person seeing things on the road. If that happens,
Exactly.
she'll be affected mentally, because here, in my case, I can't handle normal people in my house. Just joking. If I see paranormal people, I'll go somewhere else. So, but that's on a lighter note. On a serious note, I think the shock of seeing something which is unreal, which is like, oh my god, really types, it affects in different ways. I don't know, in your case, it must have not been in that sense, but you felt something, no,
No,
in that negative, some heaviness or
fear.
something like that.
I would probably agree with you because fear is a response which is very strong in me. Okay, fear
Hmm.
actually drives me sometimes nuts. So because when I was growing up, we were in a small town where our house was opposite an old school which was around 200 years old. The
Okay.
school used to be the children used to be playing in the school in the mornings, and in the night, uh, the place was literally deserted. I mean. It's a very old building, around maybe I think built around 1800s or something. And of course, my
Wow.
siblings used to tease me saying, "Okay, there's a ghost, see the window." And probably the fear started playing over me. I think, I don't know. Because why I'm saying
Could
fear
be.
is, in 2014, when I took the first class of Sudarshana Kriya, I started practicing. And one day when I was practicing in the morning, I felt a very strong pressure on my forehead, on my center of the crown of the head. Okay, I was not knowing that there is a chakra there and all that, to do with the chakras and all that. The pressure was too much. It was at the end of the kriya, and I was getting up, and I felt somebody was trying to push me from the above. It triggered a fear
Wow.
in me. It triggered such a nasty
Yeah.
fear. I literally ran away from the room, and I told I told my mom what about. She told, "Okay, henceforth, if you want to in the night, you come and sleep here." Then I told,
Yeah.
"No, no, I'll not be afraid. I'll sleep in the same room. I'm not a coward or something." I told. In
Yeah.
the night, around 1 o'clock, I felt the same pressure, and that's when
Oh,
the fear caught hold of me, and I didn't sleep in the room at all for the next 6 to 7 years. And strangely,
wow.
after my mom passed away, I don't know how, whether I'm connecting the dots, I don't know. After she passed away, I had to leave in, because I was in a quarantine. I was infected with COVID. So I
Yeah.
had everyone else had moved to my sister's house. So I was staying in the same room,
Hmm.
and I didn't get the fear at all.
Wow.
It literally vanished.
Yeah.
Like protection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably my mother
We,
was protecting me. I think so.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
have one
Yes.
more person here, two more, in fact.
Jaydev sir is here.
Yeah, Jaydev has also joined. And we also have a lady. Your name, please?
I'll uh,
Sherry.
I'll
Sherry.
watch from I'll watch. I'll just leave the
No, it's
studio,
okay,
then we'll
Karthik.
talk.
Remain. You can remain. It's up to you.
I
Yeah.
need to have my dinner and come back. I'll come back.
Okay, fine, fine.
Yeah.
Sherry?
Thank you.
Hi, Meena ji.
Yeah,
I always watch your shows,
thank
and
you.
actually, I have a question for Sujata ji.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is my birthday, the 15th of March,
Okay.
and my father passed away on 15th of February 2010.
Mhm.
So, with your psychic abilities, I wonder if you can see how come he passed away so suddenly, and if he has any message for me.
Give me your father's name.
Rusi, Rustamji,
O-
same last
Okay.
name as mine.
Okay. See, right away, I know one thing is that your father's presence is so great, and in the sense that he was not a man who had lot of desires. He was very content with himself. There are very few people who I can say that about. Okay, and he used to call you a son, not a daughter. He used to say, he used to tell you, he's asking me to tell you that she is not my daughter, she's a son. She's the son who I never had. I don't know why he says that, but he says, I'm content. There is nothing which I would need from her right now. And if there is anything, he will contact you via your dreams, because he says that you're a very strong woman. He says you're very strong, you faced a lot, and I'm always there as a guardian angel, which will sound cliched, but that is true. So he says he doesn't have any desires. Your father doesn't have any desires. He was full of good karma, full of good karma.
So
Yes,
nice.
I understand, but how come he passed away so suddenly? That's
See,
my question.
life and death you cannot talk about in on this platform. Or when you're in front of me, there is a one-on-one. Then I can tell you certain things. But here, that would become too personal, and we should not interfere in certain things. My mother, who's my guru, has taught me certain things. Okay, but I can tell you one thing: your father is from a good place. And see, just because you're talking to about him, I could feel his presence. If I don't feel the presence, I cannot tell you. I don't make it up. So you understand what I'm saying? I cannot talk about things where I don't connect. like that boy in my house who passed away and he connected to me. So only people who are willing to connect with me with the open forum I can see. I cannot find out from a bag of bones that whether this was a man or a woman or something like that, unless until that spirit comes up and connects with us. So we are a medium. We have a
Uh,
blessing of a
yes. So,
medium.
so how can I connect with you?
With me, I can ask Meena. I'll leave my email ID,
Yes,
so
yes,
then we can connect. But
absolutely.
one thing is for sure, your father doesn't need any help. He's already crossed over. He is not a person who will linger upon any small thing. He's a very large hearted man. वो बड़ा दिल वाला ना, that kind of person is your father. So don't worry about your dad. He's in a wonderful place. He's in a wonderful place. That much I can tell
Okay.
you.
So,
Thank you.
your email address will be put
Yeah,
in
she'll
this
give it. Yes.
live chat.
Yes,
Yeah. All
I'll
those who
just
want
put
to
it.
connect, yeah, all those who want to connect, I'll give you
Yeah.
the email ID.
Yeah. So we'll shift the focus again to the haunted house thing. I want to hear more
Yeah,
about haunted
yeah,
house.
yeah. So back to Mayur and Jaydev. You
Yes,
wanted to say
yes, yes.
something? Yes.
Yeah, Mayur, Vishalakshy, yeah. What's your name? Harry? Is that Harry?
Rustamji. Rustamji. What? I didn't get a name.
Rastonjee.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Rustamji. Yeah.
Rastonjee.
Oh, yeah, wonderful to meet you all. My question is to Mayur primarily, is that now I am more of a, I don't believe in ghosts. Personally, I like to look at life from a scientific point of view. And since I have not had any such experience, I do believe in God, and I've not had any paranormal experience as per se. Now, how much of the paranormal experiences that people have mentioned could be a manifestation of their own mind or brain, since we have not analyzed the brain completely? Uh, as you know, like it could be your own fears manifesting in an external point of view. Could that be a
Sure.
possibility?
Okay. Can I respond?
Yeah, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Jaydev, first and foremost, nice to see you. Har Har Mahadev.
Perhaps Mahadev, Mayur.
I see
Pleasure
you
meeting
on
you.
some of the. Yeah, it's lovely. Now, can I just call Mayur?
Absolutely.
Okay, Jaydev, here's. I'm getting some sounds.
Yeah, I'll just mute.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Jaydev, maybe it's my echo. What I want to say is this. This is a subject which is very subjective. Very subjective. A person could say that he or she has literally seen somebody like Sujata did. Me sitting here, I myself will question her about the boy. I still am not sure. Now I'll give you something. I'll say something to you, Jaydev, which will probably corroborate to a great extent of what you said. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. So my uncle is suffering from a brain disease. He's passed away, Mayur Kalbag. He had Parkinson's, and I pray to the God nobody should get that, because it's one of the most torturous experiences that a person can have, especially in the later stages. But he was having a medicine called dopamine, which is a medicine specifically to trigger the brain functioning. I'm talking about my uncle who lived with us. He was living in Mumbai. We had shifted to Pune. Whenever I would go for my training programs, I would live at my house where I grew up, where he was living. So one evening, and this is like he's in the middle of his, in the phase of his Parkinson's. Okay, so he has a little body. In Parkinson's, your movements get affected. But he used to cook lovely food and all. So one day when I enter the house, it was for the first time for me it happened. Okay, so I enter the house. He's sitting there watching TV, and I'm like, hi, Vidhi. I call him Vidhi, uncle, and he's like, hi. So you came right now and whatever. I went to my room. I came out, and he's like, so did you meet Dinesh, uncle? So he's sitting. Imagine you're sitting where you are. You to your right, 3 feet away. I'm standing, and he's looking and he's saying, so did you meet the Dinesh, uncle? Literally as though like, and I'm like, who Dinesh, uncle? Dinesh, uncle. We call him Dinu uncle. I said, no, Dinu uncle was in Hubli near Belgaum. Okay. So I said, no, he's not. He's like, what are you stalking? Are you okay? I said, yeah, why? What? He's standing right behind you. And I'm like, so I actually looked, there's nobody. And he's so convinced that he's upset and angry that I'm lying. That he thought I'm making him, I'm playing a prank on him. Imagine, Jaydev, if you see your dad and another cousin of yours says he's not there, so how will you feel like, are you okay? I mean, I can see sitting. Are you getting my point, Jaydev? So my uncle, after some time, now listen, this is interesting. So I'm like, no, he's not the reason, Hubli. Come on, and I'm like getting a little unnerved because this was the first time for me of the effects of dopamine. You know what he said later? Because I was resting. He said, hey, Mayur, just want to tell you something. He said, listen, yeah, I've been having this medicine thing. It creates hallucinations. Okay, so I do get this immediately after my dopamine medicines. I do get this. So I know I may have said something like that, but actually it's my issue. But that point, Jaydev, he literally felt he saw somebody when there was nobody, and he realized that later on. But then it went to a very dangerous extent. Very dangerous. So somebody had to be with him at his house. The mental thing goes in a different direction. Hallucinations go to such extent rather. He once he went to the 4th floor of my building in Mumbai, wanting to jump off or something like that, which was horrendously shocking for us. Because we have neighbors and all, they took him back, and his mind was functioning in a different direction altogether. Now, it's what I've said right now is explicit and yet pregnant with a lot of interpretation. But it sort of veers in the direction, Jaydev, of what you said. But it doesn't mean that that's exactly what it is. My uncle felt he saw something three-dimensional. For somebody else who's listening, it's a spirit, where it isn't. Are you getting the thing what I'm saying? So, oh my God, my house is haunted because my uncle saw this uncle saw my other uncle. No, he didn't. It was his hallucination. And I came across that many more times. But then I had understood that is a result of some medication that he's having. Okay, this is just one part. But there is the other part where, see, I have not had Jaydev join the gang. I yearn for it. Why do you think I pretty watch Paranormal every day? Is mere saath ho jao kuch. I know I'm crazy, but not that crazy. Even, you know what I think sometimes? I know I'm making this public statement. I feel like let there be a live Paranormal on TV, and through the live at least something should come through the TV, like the Ring movie. So that at least let me feel. But do I believe in what, like Sujata may have said? I do believe, because there is the energy. Just like there is the energy called God, there is the energy which comes out of, you know, of a person who dies or passes away, who felt the connection with a daughter, or, you know, with the person who loved. So it's pulled back. It's pulled back. I do also believe, Jaydev, since I'm here, part of the show, there are some people like Sujata who have been blessed with, or not, I don't know, blessed, I would say, to have the, like you said, the brain, what we know now is only this much, maybe 0.1%. Her aspect of the brain has reached a point where she's able, her extrasensory perception, the ESP, is at a very different level, which yogis have. So they do telepathic talking. Raman Maharshi, when he was in Tiruvannamalai, my guru's guru once met, Swami Anandashrama. He went to meet. For almost 45 minutes, they kept only looking at each other, smiling once in a while. They didn't utter one word. Now, I'm just sort of getting you and me to understand that there are so many things we don't know. They were telepathically speaking here. Now, what Sujata was doing, telling us was the same thing. At a mental level, she was able to connect. And how they are able to voice it, they use energy. There are these aspects as well, Jaydev. So, where this is going is towards the understanding, Jaydev, and to all of us, is there's a world of exploration which may happen through your japa, through meditation, where things open up a little bit. Now, when you're protected with prayers, japa and stuff, the negative aspects or even the spirits aspects may not come in, because they're not able to penetrate, because you're already protected with your kavacha. I believe, Jaydev, one of the viewers said that she practices Shiva Kavach and she has never had experiences. I have been practicing Shiva Kavach. It was given to me because spirits are better than bad people. The worst booths are the ones who are three-dimensional. The real ones are harmless. They're very innocuous. They're like, they'll be there. We get scared because we are not used to it. There are certain houses where they know there is a spirit and they're okay with it. Like Meena said earlier, there's a fun spirit. But are we ready? Are we ready to accept it? So, and unfortunately, it's like I always say, it's as difficult to convince somebody as to explain the taste of water. You can't explain it because you haven't experienced it. I had a little bit when I went to Fiji, I did, but my mind again goes towards the fact that it's not like how Sujata would have. It's not like there are others who do. There are others also who are not gifted. They will learn certain tantric vidya to actually do what I think one of our people who joined in said, can I connect with my father, or can you tell me? So there will be some people who have learned the way to do that, to recite some things and open up the doorway towards connecting with certain souls. I have done through a family ritual, connected through some purohits, my ancestors, to find out who are those who probably my uncles and all have not respected them by doing the yearly, every year ka death, they do a puja, death anniversary puja. And there was some, so these purohits connected with those spirits. Jaydev, do I have questions about that? I do. Like I asked Sujata ji, how is a person able to manifest when the body is gone? Does it create this emotion? Does it create a birth of a memory in the brain of Sujata? That she's able to hallucinate in a beautiful way that form. And don't take hallucination negative way. This is my inference, okay, Jaydev. So people may say, what are you talking? But it could, because where science ends on this, spirituality begins here. Aghoris, why do they go into the place where it is beautifully and magnificently infested with spirits? They want to go because they find some energies which they can relate with. They'll use that to their own growth. So it's beautifully expansive, Jaydev. It will take at least 11 and a half births for me to then come to a point where I can answer you more clearly. But this is where I put a comma to my response to you. Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah. Wonderfully answered, Mayur ji. And I would like to ask one more question. What do you think of Rajneesh Baba also? What do you think of him?
Osho?
Yeah.
Osho?
Your opinion?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jaydev, I have two choices. One, I can say, what does this have to do with haunting? The other is answer you straight away. So let me answer you. My take is I have not really studied him as much as I have understood a little bit. I have spoken to some people who have realized, who have enlightened themselves, but they may not be famous. Understood Osho Rajneesh's way of looking at life. Okay, he was way ahead of his times. This is my personal opinion. He was way ahead of his times in making people understand the sense aspect of it. It's so that even today is shocking of what he said. But if you go into the detail of it, it was like, get rid of it. You want to go animalistic, go finish it off. Khatam. Are you done? Okay, now please clear your mind and get into it. His core philosophy, his core spiritual core was very pure. But what manifested around that is the part which then people talk about. If you really listen to what he talks about, it's very different. Again, it is open to interpretation. So if somebody wants to look at it from one angle, they can. But I have understood him from all angles, that when they would have those things, where people would get into stuff, the underlying current was different. But whether it got misunderstood and all is another thing. But at the core, I feel Jaydev, that he was probably one of the most misunderstood yogis because he was too blatant. He was too direct, and maybe some of us, or I wasn't there, but many people were not able to understand. And then the easy way out is just look at what is the perceivable negative aspect of it, right? So that's my take on Osho Rajneesh. See, there's so much more that happened, right? The controversy, this, but if you look at the core, there's something to take. Aren't we also having animalistic aspects because we have evolved? It's just that today we are seeded with spirituality. So it's been purposefully done in the process of evolution. So we are able to now have such conversations. He had evolved to a different level, but the people who listened were not able to understand that core. They went to the other aspects. So that's my take on on Rajneesh. Very very haunting conversations out here, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Nice meeting you, Jaydev. After first time we are interacting. Yeah.
Yeah, first time.
Nice.
Same here, Mike.
Yeah. Great. All right.
Okay.
Meena? I think Meena's on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Abhishek is asking, hello Meenaji, please ask this question to the experts. If ghost spirits are present in this world, then where do the extraterrestrial aliens stand in the grand scheme of things?
Who's going to answer?
It's one of my wider topic, yeah.
It's a very interesting subject.
Yeah.
So I think in the grand scheme of things, I'll just put a very concise response to Abhishek. So there are spirits and there are different geographies, physical, and even within the same geography, there are different dimensions. So while I'm here talking to you, there's another dimension in the same space where there's somebody else as well. Again, that's a very beautifully deep subject. Your question is about aliens. I completely believe in aliens. In fact, the way I behave sometimes, I have to check myself how human I am. The core meaning of alien is that which we are not aware of, isn't it? It's like, it's very alien to me. Alien can also be used as a verb, not only as a noun. So there are entities at Kailash and in the skies above the Himalayas, especially Kailash and Manasarovar, where they have seen, even I have seen lights at certain times. Now, how do you look at it? Are they spirits like bhoot and stuff, or are they entities? Now, I have not really got the liberty to, or I didn't have the space to ask them, who are you? But yes, I personally believe that extraterrestrial beings need not really be in forms which we create. Like I said in some other podcasts, long face and woo and all that. No, they may be there right amongst us. Men in black types, patani. But you don't know. This world is very unique. The space is unique. Our minds are unique. And how is it that our Earth is the only place in this zillions of filled with galaxies that we are the only place with habitation of human existence, in fact existence? So through the law of probability and through things like modernization, travel, today humans are also astrally traveling. It's called astral projection. So if humans can astrally project and go to different planets, like Dr. Padmakar Vartak, about whom I spoke, who, by the way, I was asking, somebody replied and said he's still there, breathing in deep, and I want to meet him in Pune. He's traveled to different planets. I know of other yogis, I won't name them, who have traveled. So why can't it be that there are some extraterrestrial beings who have also traveled here? May not be in their physical form, which could be anything. It could be a bacterial-sized alien as well. So that's my, reluctantly concise response to Abhishek, your question.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah, we have Basati with us. Is that how I pronounce your name, Basati?
Yes, ma'am, Bhashati Das.
Bhashati, sorry.
हाँ मैम, मेरा सवाल ना सुजाता जी से था. एक्चुअली ये सवाल मयूर दादा से पहले भी पूछा है, शायद मयूर दादा को याद होगा. मेरे पापा के बारे में. मेरे पापा को गुजरे, मतलब 2016 में वो गुजरे थे. तो वो ना मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा ड्रीम में दिखाई देते हैं बार बार. और जब बरसी के टाइम होता है ना, तब ज्यादा दिखाई देते हैं. और मतलब मैंने कोई बहुत सारे रिलेटिव से भी बात की है, वो लोग भी बोलते हैं कि उनको पापा दिखाई देते हैं. मैम, क्या आप बोल सकते हैं ऐसा क्यों है?
हाँ. What was your name?
Bhashati Das.
Okay, Bhashati, why don't you connect with me offline, because there are certain things which I should not talk after Sandhya. After 6, I should not talk about such things. It's a wrong thing. I suddenly realized that why am I feeling some mixed vibrations after 6? जब दीपक जलाते हैं ना घर पे, शिव पूजा भी करते हैं ना, so you should not talk about such things. So you connect to me during the day. I will talk to you, and I'll give you my email ID. There are certain things about your father which is very difficult, you know, बहुत ही दर्दनाक है. So I don't want to talk about
yeah,
this.
yeah, I think that's a good thing you're doing. I mean, this is interesting as well, that the time zone, isn't it? Right.
Yes, yes.
Meena, I just wanted to bring this insight. Have you realized that at least 99% of the times, people are more scared in the dark, isn't it? When the sun sets. Like if you were to go towards a cemetery or a graveyard in the daytime, compared to and not only after sunset. Imagine at 12 o'clock and all. At a very psychological level, isn't it true that we like, daytime you can probably just walk around and
I would like to ask you, Mayur, even if you watch a horror film by muting the voice, you won't feel scared.
Yeah, exactly. It looks so funny actually. I know. So my point is, Jaydev, and to all of us is, if you really don't you get intrigued by the fact that the same, like the bungalow you showed me, Meena, that bungalow picture.
Yeah.
No. Listen, I'm not some Superman. I'm a normal man.
Yeah.
If at the daytime, like 8 o'clock, 9:30, after eating some nice masala dosa, especially with chutney and all, at your place in Bangalore, and then we go, Jaydev, you take me, by car, and maybe Karthik from Bangalore, you join me. And we just walk into this bungalow, as you see. Tell me frankly, if I just walk at around 11 in the morning, at least approaching that very scary looking dicky of the car, I think we can still go there. But imagine at 11 in the night, impossible. I mean, it will be really a different experience, isn't it? So, and the place is haunted. It's about how our body responds when there is darkness, something like that, isn't it? Where,
Mayur, if you watch a haunted movie during daytime, you don't get scared.
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
If you watch a haunted movie during daytime, you don't get scared.
Yeah, because our environment is normal now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still trying to watch Paranormal when it's like 12 o'clock in the morning and stuff. And still, I'm not getting. But listen, I'll say this.
That's because you have an army behind you.
I know. An army of Sanskrit chantings. Yes, I agree, because that's really what I feel. I have felt that even when I was on the banks of Manasarovar, there was nobody there, because that was like 7, 8 in the evening. It was twilightish. Everybody had gone to their tents, and I was just sitting there because I was in the seva of my guru, so that was done. So when my guru was somewhere else, I had my time. Believe you me, Meena, when it was twilightish and sitting there looking at the Manasarovar, it was fear, but it was a radiant fear. You just felt amaze and awe. It's like you're alone in this space, which is really out of the world, literally. And I really urge all of you to go there once at least in this lifetime. I was feeling as if this whole place is beautifully haunted with some kind of energy here.
Yeah.
And then I understand when I look back, this is 2001. See, what I see even in paranormal doesn't scare me as much as when I see horror movies where they show, and therefore, Sujata, when you say that, like, you are able to see these forms, like you very rightly said, these are forms which are very normal, like normal people. Not scary looking people. If you see the movie Ring, for example, right, where that thing comes out, I don't know, because you also said that you had an instance where you saw this form, this person hanging on a tree upside down. Yes. So I'm a little confused myself. Listen, with due respect to you, Sujata, and I'm getting into a little bit of the Jaydev zone here. There are instances where you see something, but at the same time, it could also be that it's a hallucination in a nice way. I'm saying that maybe it's an illusion that is created only for you. Maybe if you
Okay.
touch it, it will be there. So it's that.
No, no. I'll just answer that for you. See,
Yeah.
because I was in a very only in the seventh class. So seventh class is not an age where you can see such things, right? So it is a
Yeah.
very normal thing. And then it was not just that single place. I have seen her in lot. I'll tell you one small incident, if you give me permit me 2 minutes.
Please, please.
Are
Okay.
you able to
So
see like that in the dark after
yeah, just two
sunset?
minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, no. I have to tell the incident. I'm not inferring anything from the astral
Sure.
space.
You're
Yeah,
Okay.
connecting.
from
Okay.
the astral. Yeah, from the astral space. If I connect, then I have to go through certain things, and it will drain me out through the night. I might get
Got
migraines also. Yeah.
it.
So yeah. So this thing, wherein the annual holidays happen, right, in December, wherein the Christmas holidays are given, and Kalakshetra is a place where it is completely. It's a huge, huge place. Okay, it's in Besant Nagar in Chennai. So Karthik will know. So and Meenadi also. So this place has lot of trees and it's beautiful. It's really haunting. Okay, so but it's very beautiful. If you look at it through a child's eye, it's very beautiful. So my father refused to pick us up from the hostel. My brother and myself. My brother was in the third class. I was in the seventh class. Okay, so here again, this Sita ji, I told you, no, Sita Akka. So the Sita Didi came and she says, Sujata, as I told you, mentally talk. This is no talking through the, no verbal communication. It is only mental. Okay. So she says, don't sleep in the other rooms. Go to the puja room, in the meditation room. We have a meditation room where she said, go into that room and you go and sleep. Okay. That, and unfortunately for us, that meditation room has about 12 huge windows and the sea breeze comes in. It's really haunting, and if I hallucinated, then why would somebody who is supposed to be a spirit who's attacked a lot of people, and this is something you can verify with Kalakshetra hostel people even now, 30 years later. Okay, so why would somebody who's a spirit and who's a bad woman and whatever they have painted her to be tell me that don't sleep elsewhere because my energy will be more, sleep in this room? And I did that. So I
Mm.
stayed in that meditation room for 10 days, unfortunately, with my brother. Okay. And that was something wherein I'm telling you about this woman who was there in different places. I could not see her eyes. I could not see her nose and face and all that, but I know that this is that woman. She'll be wearing a
Mm.
dress like a dancer, like, you wear that sari with that
Yeah.
pajama kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of a dancer's dress, but not her eyes and her face. No, I never saw her face. So what I'm
Mm.
telling you is that if I imagined, then I should have seen everything. No,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying, Mayurji? And for a girl who's in seventh class, why will she
Mm.
be bothered about dead
Yeah.
people and
Right.
things like that?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's a personal experience, And somebody in
Yeah.
the comments had told me that Sujata ji did not connect with Sushant Singh. I said, you please believe what you want to believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is happening to me is happening to
Yeah.
me, and I don't
Exactly.
want to make it public.
Yeah.
It is a
Absolutely.
personal experience,
Yeah.
and it's
Absolutely.
my experience with that another soul, which I humbly, bow down before. Because if somebody is coming to you and you're able to catch that energy, it is all about catching the energy vibration.
Yeah.
That's all. It is
Yeah.
nothing else. Nothing
You
else.
know, Meena, just to add a little bit of my point
Yeah.
here, and this is to even Jaydev.
Mm.
I have learned and understood that if one were to, not only protect the kavach, but even internally have the strong conviction that there is no ghost, absolutely not. Okay, or even if there is, I'm not going to be affected. I believe a lot of it has to do with your own courage within and courage of conviction, which will not allow or which will dissuade a spirit that would be there to even connect with you. So if you open yourself, you could be exposing yourself to those energies. If you don't want to, you close the gate. They won't come in unless you invade their haunted the space. So they will try doing things. So there is this concept called the poltergeist. Okay, a poltergeist is, again, what I've understood is that entity which is far more filled with energy. Okay, because they work in energy fields. Huh? That's why the batteries, Meena, some people came out with the batteries drained, they pull energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so some poltergeists, Jaidev, they become poltergeists in the sense they have more strength. So even if I go there and say kuch nahi hone wala hai, they will still sneak in and try to make some sound. That's why even these guys who go with paranormal thing, they're very strong. I mean, how can they go otherwise? But they will still hear knocking,
Yeah.
and the people at whose place they've gone, they've got scratch marks and all. They've been affected because the fear makes them more open to attacks by poltergeists, not all the spirits. My thing is, Meena, after this session, I'm going to go out into the wilderness, just so that it gives me the practice that I'm still okay after this session, because it is quite pleasantly spooky after, Sujata ji, you are really a person with a lot of info, man, a lot of experiences,
And
and
very
full
interesting.
respect for you.
Very
Yeah, very
interesting.
interesting.
Thank you. Thank
Maybe,
you so much.
Yeah, I would like to.
Jen-
I would like to share one experience of mine. Is that when I stayed in a hotel in London, it was a military sort of hospital long time back, and now it's a hotel. So I think I got up at. I was sleeping in the hotel, and at 3 o'clock in the night, my laptop, the screen just it turned on because I keep it in rest mode. I don't shut off the laptop. So I like, I mean, and the screen just came, it just came bright, and like I was like, I woke up literally. I was shocked. Like, how can, I mean, was it sort of air which pushed the screen, or I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't know if it
no,
is.
Jaidev, to this, I will be Jaidev here. Let me be the Jaidev and tell you that it is not bhoot and all. It must have been some internal processing that may have activated the screen. That happens sometimes. And if it isn't true, then there's a real ghost in my room as well, because my screen goes off many times. But sometimes, no, the processor, see, even when we turn it off, in a laptop, the internal processing is happening as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes it does create some kind of an activation, I feel, just to make you feel good, that to make you reinforce your own belief. And Karthik asked me a question about which show was I referring to. I don't know, I just chanced upon this. There are many, but the one that I normally follow is a show called Dark Ghost Paranormal by a Russian guy. It's very interesting. The gadgets that they take is very interesting. That makes you really wonder, the kind of effort they take. See, somebody will say, yeah, this is all made up and all, but when you see the person's expression, you see the place they go, they carry drones. So they give you a perspective of which forest it is in. And it is based on people messaging them on Instagram about their experiences in a haunted place. So then he will go there. This guy found a rotting body because happened. He had to literally call the police and all in this particular program. So Dark Ghost Paranormal is the program, and there are many others. Mindseed is there, but listen, I just watch a little bit, and I hope for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, kuch to ho raha hai, kuch nahi. I said, okay, not my day today. Nobody's going to come in, because Sujata just made me aware there's an army there saying, get out of here, you can't enter.
Yes, as you said, Mayurji, you have chants, your scriptures, and whatever you do, your practices and the blessings
Yeah.
of your guru is very strong, very strong.
When I was at Kailash, sorry, Meena, please.
Yeah. In my case also, Sujata, is there some sort of a...
Yes. You don't have an army like Mayurji, but you have one strong Iron Man with you who will protect you always. And you also know that, Meenaji, you have intuition, your sixth sense is very sharp. You have people connecting with you in dreams a lot. I don't know if you have a dream journal, but if you keep a dream journal,
Yes,
we
I
can
do,
talk
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I do.
See? I know, because I could feel that energy with you, and you have one strong man who is like an army. One man army you have. Mayur literally has an army. So
So
Meenaji
together we
is
make
really
a
blessed.
strong team.
Yes, Mayur has lot of other things to do. Maybe when we meet in person, Mayurji, I can tell you
Absolutely.
whenever that is destined to happen. See, because souls
Can I,
like us don't.
yeah, sorry.
So souls like us don't come and meet each other like this due to coincidence. this is not coincidence, this is destiny. It is,
Yeah.
we are supposed to do certain good things before we go, whenever we go to the other side of the
Yeah.
rainbow. We are meant to
Yeah.
do certain good things with the energy we have. We should connect with a common purpose, and that common purpose will help the life purpose. That's what I felt,
True.
because
So,
at the end of the day, it is that, not anything else.
so because you said that to me and you made me reinforce this your belief that there is this army. I only knew army of ants. Now army of people is like unbelievable.
They call it
Um,
a legion or something like that. No, there's
Legion.
some
Yes,
word,
yes,
legend
yes.
or legend,
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Legion.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
So I want to, for you, if I can, Ameena, if you allow me, just want to say
Yeah.
one.
Please.
I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling it. So I just want to say, and I say this whenever I feel a little down. I say this. It's like the one I've said before as well, but just to say it once again for all of you, if you don't mind. Om nakarmana prajaya dhane natyage naike amrutatvamanasho परेण नाकं निहितं गुहाया विभ्राजते तदतयो विशन्तीं वेदांत विद्या न सुनिश्चितार्था संन्यास योगाद्यतयच्छुद्ध सत्त्वा आह ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परा आन्तकाले परामृतार्ति परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दहरं विपापं परमे एष्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्य सग्गस् तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यं यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिर्नस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः ॐ नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful.
how can they come close? कान के नीचे आएंगे नहीं. In our colloquial way, no. One
You
will
know,
give no.
Mayur, see, when we were doing a session on the satanic cult, okay, Jaydev was speaking about John Lennon's. Can you just narrate that, Jaydev, when you did that about John Lennon's death?
Yeah, we had a session back then, Mayur. We were discussing John Lennon's, assassination, and all of a sudden there was this demonic voice, and I was live, and I was shocked, and I was like,
Like
I was thinking
snarling.
I was being hacked
Yeah,
online,
like it
but
was
it was a
snarling at
demonic
us.
voice, and it says,
Yeah.
yes, 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 and I cannot explain it. How is it
Even
possible?
Karthik, all of them noticed it.
But Jaydev, this is possible because this is what they use. If you don't mind, dude, watch Paranormal tonight. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm there with you telepathically. Okay, they use. Do you know they carry a transistor and they use frequencies.
yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
these paranormal entities, they use energy, right? So they can manipulate energy and use it in the form of voice.
yeah.
So and these paranormal people are smart enough. That's why I watch it. They use gadgets, man, amazing gadgets. They use cameras, infrared, thermal, because our level of excitement multiplied 1,000 times. That's what they are. And what I understood is they don't get affected when they come back. They won't have fear because they've already ascertained to themselves that they will not. And when you have that, nakaramana, that's what we do. I don't know what they do. So when you do that, and Jaydev, that's probably what has happened. Maybe that entity got pulled in and it manifested its voice through the technology that you're using.
Astro, welcome.
It's
No words.
Yeah,
but we should
think,
connect offline as well, Jaydev. Yeah,
yeah. We're
Absolutely.
joined by Astro. Astro, would you like
yeah.
to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So actually,
You need to speak louder.
I was hearing multiple noise, audios. So okay. So actually, what happened is when we were very young, my younger brother, who was that time very young, I think 10 years or. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Continue.
Okay. Okay, so what happened is he went to washroom, and in that time villages there were no washrooms, and he went under a tree, and suddenly he realized that something is entering in his body, and
mm,
because we used to chant mantras,
mm.
so he immediately said om om om, and he immediately realized that something is leaving his body, and he got so scared. He
Scared.
ran for 10 minutes and entered home, and he just started, he was so
Yeah,
scared.
yeah.
And he said something entered me, and I said om, and that left. So that the power of
Wow.
om is just the power of
You
om, but
know,
actually that energy
Astro.
was like हम लोग
Yeah,
बहुत पहले से उसको chant कर रहे थे, तो anyways he got that energy so high that immediately just that utterance of om made that spirit go away.
yeah. Astro, in fact, Sujata also. See, an experience happened to me when I was in Baghdad, not Baghdad, in Dubai, when, at night, I felt the similar, what she said. Something entering my body, and then the bed shaking, just like it would in exorcist, shaking. I don't know whether it was a
Wow.
part of my dream or it was actually happening. And I got really scared, and then suddenly that entity went out of the window. And then Jaydev was sleeping in the room next to mine, and he said the next day a similar experience happened to him, but a smaller one, smaller version. It was not scary. How would you explain that?
Okay. So you
Who's,
asking, yeah, Mayur or
yeah,
Sujata?
Sujata, please. No,
Sujata, yeah,
Sujata.
yeah,
Okay, okay. See, as I told you, Meena ji, the person who was speaking earlier about that small boy, remember?
yeah.
So
Astro, yeah,
who had the power of Om, the chants.
yeah,
So even when a boy who is hardly 10 years old, he is not going to make up stories, right?
yeah,
But he
yeah,
could feel that energy, and
mm,
he had the power to know what is not good for him.
yeah, yeah,
You understand? So
yeah,
I'm relating that to you. What happens is, I don't know if everybody is aware, but we all have a body aura,
yeah,
or whatever you call it, aura. So here there is that energy level which is there, and you strengthen the energy, giving it
yeah,
positivity.
mm,
So what happens, Minaji, is you on a certain level,
mm,
you're connected to your guru, so your
mm,
umbilical cord connection to your guru is always there.
yeah,
Okay, irrespective of whether you're alive or dead, your power energy with the guru source will always be there. So
yeah,
your connection is so strong, you
mm,
have a set of energy around your body.
mm,
So the negative energy which is coming, or the entity which is there in the room or in the place, because there are a lot of haunted stories even
yeah,
about the Taj Hotel, I think, in
yes,
Mumbai.
yeah,
Mumbai. Yes. So like that we have. So you, when you were there in that hotel, surely there must have been some presence.
mm,
Maybe the physical bones of some person was buried there, or
mm,
something like that, and that person is used to staying there. So
mm,
you are going there, and you have whatever paid a rent, and you're staying there,
mm,
right? So what happens is that energy levels, they are not able to touch you,
yeah,
even if through the form of a dream or
yeah,
through any other form, because
okay,
your guru has already given you some kind of a kavach.
mm,
Okay, and that protection, as soon as they see that, they will start feeling spooked, they'll get
mm,
scared of you, and
yeah,
that is the reason they left. Otherwise,
yeah,
I'm telling you, I have hardly heard of cases where the negative energy is moving out from the place which belongs to them. So
yeah,
that is really a very great blessing. I mean, not because you're the host of the show, but I've
yeah,
hardly heard people saying this.
yeah, yeah,
That the energy level protection which you have inside you, which has protected you actually.
okay, okay,
And I completely agree with that. I completely
mm,
agree with that experience.
yeah. Thank you
Yes,
so
yes,
much.
Mayurji.
Yeah, Mayur.
No, I was just saying that it's interesting what you said now, but I also was taken into a particular thought process where it is said that if you happen to, no, we won't, but if we happen to get into a place which is haunted,
Mm,
or if you go there and it's not haunted, but you maybe experience something, it is said that it is wise not to ever take anything from that place and bring it
ah,
home,
okay,
because there is an attachment of that
yeah.
being,
To
that
that
soul,
place,
to
absolutely.
that place. So I saw just a paranormal. I think I'm advertising the paranormal a lot. I think Dark Ghost is going to get the full Meena family there. But no, but jokes apart, this guy goes into a house which is known to be haunted. He goes, he puts that radio thing, Jaydev, what we're talking about, that manifestation of voice, and it says, dig down, dig down. So he digs, he finds hooves, okay, hooves of a goat. And you see, I mean, it's shown. He goes with the camera and all, with the GoPro and stuff. It's like a 2 feet down at the basement, and this person brings it home as a souvenir. Like, he's carrying, because it's something unique. He puts it in a bottle, and it's like a 2-video thing, so it's connected. From the time he brought that at his house, he started feeling paranormal activities in his house, which is far away from the place he had gone, because the soul attached itself also may not have liked the fact that something was taken away.
Yeah.
So that this thought just came in when you were talking about it, which may not be connected to what I think Astro was talking about with respect to a brother. But one thing that I felt is, let me tell you that when I was in Fiji, I think I told you this, but in this context it again comes back. I was in a particular hotel, and I used to have something like, I used to feel a literal whisper in my ears, and I'm as close to how Jaydev would be in terms of being really not like rational. Like, I believe, but I'm not going to just jump at conclusions here.
Yeah.
But it happened on 2-3 nights. So I'm like, this is not done. And I wasn't, the best part is, I'm not scared, I'm not spooked. But what happened is, whenever I would hear the whisper, by default, and I'm saying this with complete honesty, by default, I know I'm hearing something like that, okay? But very, very subtle. This is a little loud enough so that the whole Meena family will hear it. I can hear that, and by instinct, it will be Om Bhurvusvam Tatsaviturvrenam Bhargo Devasmi Dhyana Prachodayat Om Bhurvusvam Tatsaviturvrenam Bhargo. In my mind, I'm saying it just triggers the Gayatri mantra, and I would fall asleep. And it would be like, you want to do that? And every morning I would do my 30 minutes of my mantra japa, my Shiva Kavach, and 15 minutes of Kapalbhati. And yet I could hear. So now what that place was, because it's new for me, it's a new country. But that place, again, I can't name the hotel, beautiful hotel. I had been given a big place there. And yet I experienced it. But the trigger was the Gayatri mantra. I didn't even have to think I'm going to. It just like a reaction to something like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably that om that came out of that boy was a trigger because of the samskaras that he must have had, And I think that's what even Sujata, you were saying, that the Guru blessings are there for many of us. I believe, if I can make a very pleasantly, spiritually outlandish statement, those who are blessed by the Guru, directly or indirectly, who genuinely feel the connect with the Guru, tension ही मत नहीं लेने का, कुछ होता ही नहीं. That is the biggest coverage is that. The biggest coverage is that. Every time I paint, I have to have my Guru here. Whenever I'm feeling a little down, I talk to my Guru. How will the others, वो देखेंगे spirit, अरे बाप रे, ये तो कुछ chance ही नहीं है, because ये तो Guru है यहाँ पे. And these are Gurus who are really strong.
Yeah.
It's like a patla guy going up to a builder here and saying, I'll give you one punch. Chance ही नहीं है. So yeah. Meena, have you looked at the time? It's interesting. Probably the longest
2 hours.
This is the longest session I've had with you.
Sorry, yeah.
No. I think this has to do with you said hauntings happen only in houses. No, even spirits can haunt podcast sessions. They're influencing us to extend the session, Meena.
Yeah.
You remember Mayur, बचपन में मीना दी, before we go, I just want to say this. बचपन में we used to have this Chanda Mama talks where मम्मी पूरा खाना वाना बना के सबको खिलाती थी. So we used to have all these stories. And trust me, Mayur, what you're saying is true. They like to be talked about.
Yeah.
They like to be talked about. You're right. I absolutely
Really,
agree with you. Yes.
Wow. No wonder this session is extended.
No, but we have a blessings of the Guru. You are there, the strong man, the iron man, Mayur, and Meena Di, the iron woman. So nothing to worry.
Thank you.
Nothing
Thank
to
I
you
it.
so
guess, I
much.
guess, I guess, Meena, at the end, I can only say that I don't know how, it's not about how much time we spent on this, Meena, and because you're the host, I'm directing this to you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm sure for people who are watching, how it has pulled everybody. Now, everybody may not have joined you in your life, but I'm quite sure, 100% actually, I'm sure that a lot of the people who are watching are also pulled into
Yeah.
this, into their own
Yes.
thinking,
Yes.
and it's wonderful because not even tell me one instance where we were over serious, or we got into some argument and all. Even when Jaydev put his perspective, it was such a beautiful fluent aspect, and I think that's the beauty of getting blessings from those entities, where even talking about something perceivably negative like hauntings turns out to be full of genuine interaction with laughter as well. Yeah, so even the spirits probably are going to laugh in my ear tonight. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so this message is for Bhupalam. See, in the comment section, she will be giving us her email ID, and definitely you can take it from there. So please don't think that we've forgotten it. Sujata will give her email
Yes, I
ID
will.
in the comment
Yes, I'll
section.
do that.
So please take it from her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So
a
thank you, Mayur.
was a solid
Wonderful
session.
session as
Yeah.
always, and
Yeah.
Sujata, very interesting, and
Thank
also
you
our
And
so
guest.
much.
Uh,
thanks to the spirits that today I could see and meet Jaydev as well. Thanks to the spirits.
Same to you, Mayur.
Yeah, in fact,
Same to
in fact,
you.
he wasn't here,
Thanks.
Mayur. He
Sorry.
went for an extended session of the passport renewal, and he
Oh.
came
Yeah.
in. I had left the doors open. I was scared that some ghost will come in. He came in. He said, "Leave the doors open."
I remember. I remember interestingly when Malvika would not comb her hair, and
Yeah.
her grandmother would very funnily, sort of with a smile. She's passed away, but she would say in Marathi or Hindi, "क्या भूत जैसे बनाया है खुद को भूत." So this bhoot and pret, we use
Yeah.
also as a metaphor to
Yeah.
describe somebody who looks a little like that. So it's interesting how they have created a space in our existence. But I have to say, Meena, on a concluding note, firstly, thank you very much as a formal host, guest you brought me here.
Yeah.
Gives me a lot of happiness to share, and also to see people like Sujata who have opened up a new dimension of
Yeah.
thought
Absolutely.
process. At least it's ignited questions
Yeah.
to which answers will take days,
In fact,
years,
what I would
months,
suggest is,
lives.
we can have another session, Sujata, when Mayur
Absolutely.
joins us, and we'll explore other
Absolutely.
topics as well, because you're so well versed in all this, and people really enjoy your talk.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm blessed to be part of your family. Really, Meena, there is a very strong soul connect between all three of us. Of course, the
Yeah.
family too, but I'm
Yeah.
just mentioning this stage. I'm sorry, I don't know much about you, Jaydev, but I think I saw some YouTube videos about you. You come across as such a nice person and so observant. Trust me, you're so observant. Your eyes are like, you're getting into the soul of the person. झांक के देख
Thank
लो
you,
Uh,
Sujata.
किसी
but
के सोच में.
Sujata, a question to you, will his observation levels rise up to the level where he can even observe those activities which you observe?
No, the problem with him is the problem, no, it's not a problem. The question is he has put coverts where he doesn't want to interact with them. Otherwise, he can easily interact with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
He himself is not inviting
So,
them. He's not giving them permission.
let me tell you one incident here.
Yes.
Sujata and Mayur and our guests. Jaydev has this. I have to continuously tell him, like, if you want some good things, just think about Shiva, Lord Shiva. And he would always have this doubt in his eyes. And one day he was having a short nap, and that these questions were in his mind. He said, and then suddenly it was like in a dream. Lord Shiva just came and caught his shoulder and shook him, just shook him
Wow.
roughly, and he went off. Then he told me, like, see, mums, just look at that. I was, caught between, whether to believe or not to believe. So that was an answer for him.
Yes. Yes. He is very
Absolutely,
powerful.
absolutely.
Very powerful.
The alien and the spiritual energies work in different ways.
Yes.
Different ways. So can I conclude, Meena, from my side?
Yes, please,
The
please,
session from
please,
me.
with your yes, yes.
ॐ
Shanti.
मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितः परब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम् वर्सिष्ठान्ते वसत् ऋषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम् स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति shanti. Thank you very much from my side.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Mayur.
much.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Yes.
Sujata, and
Good
good
night,
night
everyone.
also to you,
Good night,
Sherry.
everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
To
Yeah,
Rastum ji as well, and Jaydev, bye bye, see you, and to the
Bye.
family, good night.
yeah, to the whole.